You think you think William Shakespeare would get the hood pass?
In what manner?
I don't know. You just drop some fire rhymes. I think if you're good enough for rapping, you can walk through the hood untouched.
I'm pretty sure Eminem is a testament to the fact that no, you can't. He great rapper, and he grew up, in the hood, but there are some things even he can't do.
I don't know. I think William Shakespeare has some very spoken and unspoken riz to him that would protect him in the worst of neighborhoods.
If William Shakespeare showed up in like fucking 80s Cabrini Green, he would be shot repeatedly.
Well, in that scenario, who wouldn't?
Exactly, but that's like the hoodest of hoods.
Yeah. Speaking of hood, we're stuck in a fumigation hood, slowly dying. But also, you are here too. Welcome to the Dabble and Babble podcast. I am one half of the host here, Brister XD. You can call me Brian. I honestly don't care.
And I'm Pipsqueak.
And
No,
here,
no funny line. I couldn't think of one.
and here today we have a very special episode, and
Indeed.
we'll be doing something near and dear to our hearts that has touched our childhoods forever. And no, it's not a review of the Catholic Church.
Jesus.
It is instead a tier list of every ERB up to our recording date, which is the 21st of January.
The January 21st, 2023.
Yes, this is.
I will be very angry if they make a new one tomorrow.
I would be elated.
Jesus.
Because would you like to express your history with ERB?
So I'm trying to remember what my first epic rap battle of history was. I think I'd originally discovered epic rap battle of history through, I think, reaction channels. I think Spaz Boy Reacts did a few ERB reactions back when Spaz Boys were the Spaz Boys and not just an old man sitting in front of a camera trying to regain the views that he lost after his son stopped doing YouTube with him. Wow, that got really personal. I also really like Renegade Reacts. The Renegades, they're a really fun YouTube channel. They do stuff, and they have great. One of the few reaction channels that do like a really good analysis, and also like they put out huge videos. I think their James Bond one was like 30 minutes, and most of it was before the rap battle started, just trying to talk about their favorite like James Bond and Austin Power stuff and how the battle might go. So really insightful commentary, really great YouTube channel. And that's how I kind of discovered ERB. And I also have a natural love for history. I love history. Mostly medieval, big fan, a big Roman history person, but just in general. So ERB mixing these famous historical figures with like modern pop culture people or video game characters or movie characters really appealed to me.
I think my first one I saw was Vader versus Hitler 2. I think,
Ooh, starting with two.
yeah, I think that was the one that kind of spiraled up because there was a break. There was a break after the end of season one before he was even called season one, and then
Right.
and then Hitler versus Vader 2 kind of just popped out, and then everyone was like, "Oh shit, they're making a second one." I didn't think you'd do that. And then ERB has then just been a thing that's been in my life, I guess. Like
Yeah. It's
me and my brother would pick sides and then rap at each other
aw.
over the it's just being
Yeah,
dumb kids.
me and my sister had a normal sibling dynamic and didn't do that.
Yeah, well, I bet you and your sister will not become the Mario Brothers, like me and my brother destined to be.
You know what? Given who's starring as the premier Mario bro, I'll let you have that one. I'll let you call people dirty Koopas.
Those fucking Koopas.
Nonetheless, me and my co-host here have a lot of love for ERB. We've watched all the episodes, and honestly, I don't know if people really have done this yet. I feel like it's an underserved market. We're going to be making a tier list on our favorite epic rap battles of history,
Yep.
from the first to the latest one. First one being fucking John Lennon versus Bill O'Reilly. The most most recent one being Laura Croft versus Indiana Jones,
Yep. See you in the
which I
comments, Reddit.
oh god, if we get a our Dark Souls episode, I posted it to the Reddit to get I posted to the Dark Souls Reddit to get some traction. There's only one comment on it which just says "What the fuck."
Uh,
If we end up on Reddit a second time, it'll be interesting.
yeah. Maybe this is where
So,
we make it big and everyone finds out our dirty alt right history on Twitter.
oh god, I hope not. I'm also gonna pull up the list of all epic rap
There are
battles of
85 in
history.
total. We have 1 hour. Let's get started.
Right. I'm just trying to find a list of all of them in order.
I was gonna say I have that.
Alrighty. Oh, you've got it?
Yeah.
Alright, let's start with the beginning. John Lennon versus Bill O'Reilly.
Yep. Now this is a
Uh,
first. It is so early, in fact, that it does not come with lyrics to the. It doesn't have the two-person, thumbnail. It just has John Lennon. It
yep.
doesn't have lyrics in the video. It's so old, and I think given its significance, it can't go into F tier.
It. I will say it's so significant that its significance outweighs how genuinely kind of bad it is.
I don't think it's bad. Here's the thing. I don't think it's bad. I feel even back then the beat selection was top notch and it was short and sweet. Is very emblematic of that era of YouTube where it was just make the funniest thing you
Absolutely.
can at the least amount of time possible.
The problem is, though, it is not aged well, and I don't mean that like the quality, which is kind of subpar. I mean the barbs themselves. I mean, who still talks about Bill O'Reilly? And a lot of the lines and jabs were directed towards him specifically were about things that were happening at that time. And nowadays, I mean, we're two Zoomers. How much of that can we actually remember?
I feel as though it still packs a punch, and me personally, I would say it goes easily into C tier.
C tier, I agree with C tier. I think its significance puts it in C, but I wouldn't feel comfortable putting it any higher.
Right. Now, next we have Vader versus Hitler, the first one, where they're back when it's just the green screen.
Alrighty, Vader versus Hitler. I'm trying to. Okay, they're Vader versus Hitler, Vader versus Hitler 2, and I just saw the 3. Where'd the 3? There it is, Vader versus Hitler.
Now,
Uh, so Vader versus Hitler 1, I think, is the most iconic of the 3.
definitely.
It definitely has the best barbs. They had a. It's clear to tell that they had a lot of fun writing Hitler.
Yeah.
Um, I think that it also started, to my knowledge, they're only returning the series of. It's the only series that has returning rappers.
Yeah. Abraham Lincoln returns later on, but we'll get to that.
Right, right. I forgot about Abraham Lincoln.
Right. But I think this one generally holds up as it's the only one with like a true back and forth as it was their like first one, even though it's the shortest technically.
Yeah.
I think the other two are expanded just because of the elaborate intros and whatnot. And so I think writing wise, I don't think any of them are bad, but I think the first one may well be the best one.
Definitely. The second one I feel is the weakest. It's so forgettable. I genuinely don't remember a single thing about it.
Yeah. You know what? Let's get this out of the way now.
All right, the Hitlers.
Let's get to the trilogy, okay?
Okay.
The first one I think goes into A tier. It was the first.
I was
It was the second
yeah.
one, and it was the first real great one.
I would agree. I was about to suggest A tier myself. The lines are solid. The concept has stood the test of time, and every few years it comes back as a meme. Most recently with the whole Kanye stuff. It is a incredibly
It literally opens with "I am Adolf Hitler."
yes. Good choice. Now what about Hitler versus Vader 2?
I'm going to put that in C as well. I think it's not
Alrighty.
bad, but I feel like it is the most underdeveloped as they're working with the same material a lot.
They were definitely kind of coasting off the fact that people liked the first one.
Yes.
All right. And what about the third, the thrilling conclusion to the trilogy?
I would say it either be A or B tier. I think it's better than the second one. I don't know if it scratches us. I think because here's what the linchpin of this is: the fact that at this point they had new material on Vader, which is really fun, and they brought in Boba Fett with the whole Disney
Mm.
thing, and then like Ray William Johnson getting in there. I feel like it just barely makes into A tier, although I can be convinced of B tier.
Mm. I remember the production when I think about Hitler versus Vader 3. I remember the production quality, but very little of the actual content of the rhymes. I can remember like this was one of the things where they clearly had a lot of fun with the production, but the rhymes themselves I feel were a bit
I
weaker
think
than
this.
the first, and I'd put that in B.
I'd say the the fired up sequence alone puts it in B. I think everything else kind of pushes it in the A. To be honest,
I I don't know. I think it's a high B, but I don't know if it's A tier.
we'll put it in B for right now. We may have to
Okay,
go back to that, but yeah,
we'll come back to it.
yeah,
All right, we got the Hitler versus Vaders out of the
yeah.
way.
The next one would
Now
be
what comes next?
Chuck Norris versus Abe Lincoln.
Chuck Norris versus Abe Lincoln. My problem with this is it's too short.
It's just kind
I
of weird.
It's got a good energy to it. You know, Lincoln versus Chuck Norris is very that time in the internet, very wild, and the character of Abraham Lincoln, they immediately establish him as like Death Battle. When they did their Chuck Norris battle, they needed someone who could stand up against Chuck Norris as a meme. I feel like they did a very good job establishing Abraham Lincoln as a worthy rival of Chuck Norris. The problem is they gave all the actual rapping time to Chuck Norris.
Yeah. And also, Chuck Norris all his lines were just Chuck Norris jokes, basically.
Yep.
So I think it goes to D tier. I think it's I think it's D.
I want to like it more. I part of me wants to argue it should be C, but then when I open my mouth to say something, I just genuinely like, yeah, no, it's a D tier. It had the idea was there.
Yeah.
The concept was there. It just wasn't executed as well as it could have.
No. Yeah. There has to be some like first season handicap, but even then, there are better first season rap battles.
Exactly. Alrighty.
Speaking of which, Sarah Palin versus Lady Gaga.
Sarah Palin versus Lady Gaga. It was the first, if memory serves, it's the first rap battle where women appear in a. I don't know if it's the first
two
women
women
appear, but it's the first where it's two women who are like both of them. Both rappers are women, and once again, it kind of suffers a bit from, haha, this is that time of the internet. Sarah Palin is a bit better remembered than Bill O'Reilly, but not by much.
I was gonna say, you do realize that Lady Gaga is played by Nice Peter, right?
I didn't.
I feel like for that, you just watched it before this. The fact that it still fools you puts it.
I just watched it.
I think it. I was gonna say F tier, but I think it goes into D tier just for being able to fucking fool you.
The problem is, like, the thing is the woman they have playing Sarah Palin, very boring. Like, but her performance, she has such an energy. Sarah Palin as a person, what is there to say? She is a slice of toast with beans on it. But the actress they had playing her just had so much fun, really leaning into like that asshole character. And clearly, Nice Peter did very well as Lady Gaga.
Very passing.
Very passing. There is the whole opening line, something. Look, we have here a transvestite in a dress, which didn't age well, but I can't blame them for that. Sarah Palin would still say that today.
I think.
So yeah, D tier.
D tier.
D tier, but it holds a place in my heart.
It should be F, but let's say D tier. Okay, second one. Hulk Hogan versus Kim Jong Un.
F tier, I think.
I want to say D. I don't. It's not the word. We got some real fucking singers ahead of us, and I don't think it's up there. It might be the highest F tier. That's the thing.
It's just they clearly had fun with the roles, but the lines were really weak. It was a nothing matchup. Even the Macho Man Randy Savage jump in, like his verse was kind of eh. It really did just come. I'm Macho Man Randy Savage, snap into a Slim Jim. There was nothing to it.
Conceptually, it is very weak. I think I think
It's the
I think up to this point, like in the timeline, this had been their most well produced one too.
like they had fun making it, but what the core of the rap battle was very weak.
Uh,
I'm gonna put it in F tier.
okay, I agree. F tier. By the way, this is organized by strength in the tiers. Everything closer to the column of the left side is stronger than everything behind it.
If that's the case. I'm moving Sarah Palin versus Lady Gaga.
You better. Right. The
Nice,
next.
Peter. If you're somehow listening to this, the strength of the trans community, Gondor will stand with you. You get a pass. All right.
Your
If you
sins
ever
are
want to
forgiven.
if you ever want to change sides and come over to us, we'll accept you with open arms.
Right. This one, Beto versus Justin Bieber. This one, I think, is the first season one that, or not the first one, but this one can definitely go into B tier.
Yeah, B tier is a perfect. This is the first one that I would consider as Hitler versus Vader. It's a really fun one. This is the first one that I think is really like on its own. It's a weird concept, but you'd expect it to be dated poorly because the Justin Bieber at that time is not the one we have today. But it's just they have so much fun with the concept, and it feels a lot like a prototype for Skrillex versus Mozart.
Also, the guy playing Bieber just is really just such an old, clearly older person, and it just adds to it the entire thing. The fact that he's going at it so hard.
That was another thing. The verses, like they just their soul into it. I'm putting it in B tier. I absolutely love this rap battle.
I think so too. B tier, definitely. I wouldn't say it's better than Hitler versus Vader 3, though.
Mm, you know what? I'll give you that one. I don't think it's better, but I think this is the start. This is where I'd say ERB was really starting to pick up steam.
I say, as well, we have Einstein versus Stephen Hawking, which is, I think, another contender for B tier. I would put
I'd
it.
put it in A.
I'm thinking that too, because I think both
Right.
sides are very good. This is the first instance of Zach, I believe.
Yeah, it's the first. It's the first, if not one of, or it's one of them, if not the first. There it is. Uh, I consider. I think this one. I don't know if it won an award, but what was it? Carl Sagan apparently really liked this one.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah,
I'd consider it an A tier. I think this is one of the first ones that they had that blew up outside YouTube too.
yeah. It's. I think it's one of the best history ones up to this date. At least real
Definitely.
persons.
Yeah, just a weird concept executed. Like if you were to sit down with someone and you suggest this is like a brutal, brilliant. Like, why didn't I think of this concept? And they executed it perfectly.
Yeah, I think it gets an A tier just for just the way they introduce Stephen Hawking's rapping style is I think really
Hmm.
I think it testifies to their ability, the beginning of their ability to like really signify the character through not just the lines but the actual cadence, rhythm, and sound of it.
Exactly. I really like this rap battle. I'm gonna put it above Hitler v Vader. Actually, no, I'm not.
I was gonna say.
I thought about it for a second. Never mind.
No. The next one, back to season one, Genghis Khan versus the Easter Bunny.
F.
F. What the fuck?
There's nothing here.
It's so weird. Why did this happen again? I had to, because usually at the end they always put like the comment that like says like who's the guy suggested it. Where's that guy now? Is he okay?
I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if this is something like they personally thought would be funny, and that's why it
It
exists.
was
It's also one of their shorter rap battles.
Yeah, because what the fuck can they really bounce off of each other at this point? Like it was just
I The only thing, like, I don't know what the concept was. I don't Is the concept Genghis Khan has kids everywhere and the Easter Bunny puts eggs everywhere?
there has to be some date that we're missing that like signifies them together. I don't know. Either way, this is bad. It just
It's a really bad one.
yeah. I was gonna say I'm glad Epic Lore didn't go full John Wayne, so that's a saving grace.
It's it. You know it's bad when the first thing they open on is a Wrath of Khan reference.
Yeah,
ERB now, if they were to do that, they'd work up to that. That would be how they end a verse,
yeah.
not how they open it.
Okay, next would be Napoleon versus Napoleon. This
I think
one,
this is another good one.
yeah, this is another. I don't know where it actually lies. I would say it's not A tier. Below that,
No, I'd say it's a solid high C, low B somewhere.
I would
Because
put it at a high C because I think. Well, no, I think a low B. Cause just for the sake of Epic Lord rapping in French is really impressive.
yeah, that I will. That probably is what pushes it over because he sounds good in French.
Yeah,
The concept is, pretty classic concept. Uh, both Epic Lord and Ice Peter clearly had fun writing and producing it. There were good references towards, there were good barbs towards either side. I've never seen Napoleon Dynamite, but I've absorbed enough through pop culture osmosis to get all the barbs, and I thought they were very well placed. I'll put it in like a low B.
yeah. I think just the character wise, while the bars may
Oh,
not be there, like like I guess full. They're not actual like intense
hmm
barbs. I feel like just performance wise, it really carries this one.
Also, Nice Peter specifically as Napoleon Dynamite just looks great. They had great costuming for that.
I think his face is just as long as the real guys.
It might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, a solid B tier.
Then we have Billy
Alrighty.
Mays versus Benjamin Franklin.
I want to give it an F, but no, it's a D.
It is D. I think it's the best D tier we had so far.
I still like Lady Gaga versus Sarah Palin more, but I'll put it second best.
You really like this one.
I just don't know. It's the energy. I really like the energy they have in it. But
Yeah,
this one, I just watched it before we started recording. It's very weak. Ben Franklin's performance is great, but the guy they got playing Billy Mays, his lines are kind of weak, and he doesn't really have a different tone, if you know what I mean.
yeah. I think if they did it now, they get a much more eclectic Billy Mays.
Exactly. And Nice Peter as the Sham Wow guy at the end, though, I do think kind of saves it from being F.
Yeah, that definitely does. I don't think I could have sustained another Billy Mays verse. Really, it wouldn't
I
have
would
been
not
much.
want to. Yeah, goodbye. Billy Mays gone too soon. Um, Pretty sure the actual Sham Wow guy killed a prostitute. Still not even half as crazy as what Benjamin Franklin actually got up to.
I think the connecting factor was just how all of these guys fucked. They
Definitely.
really shouldn't have.
Alrighty, what's our next one?
The next one would be uh, a William Shakespeare versus Dr. Seuss. This is, I think, our
All right.
first S tier one.
Really?
I I love this. Okay, William Shakespeare raps the same way. William Shakespeare. This is the first time we have Watsky coming in. First performance is incredible barbs. I think both Doctor. Some people don't like Thing 1 and 2 at the ending. I think it's fine. I'm okay with it. I think it's
See, my thing is William Shakespeare does rap good. He genuinely outshines William. What's his name and his creations to the point where I'd only put in maybe A or B because he is just genuinely way better, and it's not a contest.
I think
Y-
I'm gonna agree with you for now. I'll put it in A. I think it's the best A we have so far. I think it's better than I think it's better than all of them though.
It's very good. Don't get me wrong, but the thing that holds it back is the guy they have playing William Shakespeare is genuinely too talented.
Yeah. I think premise wise, I think this is the most well executed one so far in the timeline.
I'd say it's probably one of their most creative because it
Yeah.
works. It really does work. It's very out there, but also makes enough sense to justify its own existence. I like it a lot, but I can't comfortably give it S.
I'll put it in high A tier for now.
Okay. What's our next one?
Uh, Mr. T versus Mr. Rogers. This is also a contender for S tier. I feel.
I mm, It's very good. It's really, really good. Do I want to give it? I could kind of go either way on it. Mm,
Cause I think we need to establish some guidelines now. I think to qualify for S tier, it has to be like truly balanced. The rap battle can't just be it
yeah,
has to be everything included, but also it needs to be a genuine who won. You can have a debate about it.
yeah.
I think
That
this
is that is fair.
I think this one you could have that.
All right. You know what? I'm not totally sold on S, but I'll put it up there.
We'll
All
put it there
right.
for now. If not, it's definitely
Yeah.
A tier.
All right. We only have one in S and one in C. The other tiers are looking pretty good.
I was gonna say I think we have ERB 13. Christopher Columbus versus Captain Kirk. This is going fucking F tier. I don't care. I'm
Fuck
not.
yeah, I love this one.
This sucks. What are you
No,
talking about?
I
This
love the dramatic energy of it. They are going whole hog. This is one
I
of my
this
favorites.
sucks. It
No,
sucks.
it's a good
It's
one.
no, it's not. Captain Kirk
Yes,
sounds
it
like he's having.
is.
I know it's a joke, but like it's not a joke that runs through a whole episode, through a whole fucking like
Well, the thing
rap.
is, his barbs are pretty good, even in spite of it.
Even then, I
I,
can't listen to it.
I can. I love this one. This is one of my favorites.
We're gonna have us hash some things out. Where do you think it belongs?
Hmm. I would put it in C tier.
All right, I would put it in F. Now, can we meet in the middle and say it goes to D?
Then I'd have to take Sarah Palin versus Lady Gaga out of first place of D.
I'm fine with that. that is a that is a that is a compromise I'm willing to make. Can you?
Fine, I'll put it in D, but in my heart, it's much higher.
It's a high D.
In,
I was so ready to put the bitch in F D. I hate it. I just don't. Me and my
I
brother
love
never.
it. It's one of my favorites.
Me and my brother never liked replaying that. Whenever we saw it in like the fucking queue or whatnot in the side recommended bars, we always said like, "Ew."
Now, it's one of my. I just love because Nice Peter's going. He really enjoys the Italian accent, and it's clear that Epic Lloyd is loving his time as Kirk. It had so much passion. The bars were good. The backing track. I can't get over its energy. It's bombastic. They're kicking down your door to rap at you. I love it.
Meanwhile, I'm just like rolling my eyes. The production sucks, and again, Captain Kirk is just unfucking listenable.
I think you're just a hater. Anyway,
Yeah, no. D tier. That's set in stone for now. Gandalf versus Dumbledore or whatever the fuck.
I have listened to this rap battle once. You put it wherever you want, and I won't argue.
I think it is so. You remember how in later they did Skywalker versus Harry Potter?
Harry Potter?
Yeah. Who the fuck remember? No one in the comment mentioned this one as like, oh yeah, Dumbledore. I think people were asking for it, not realizing. Oh no, they already did that one. I think it is so fucking forgettable, and that's like a
Yeah.
cardinal sin for this type of shit that it goes into F tier. Because who the fuck remembers it?
That is very fair. I remember when I listened to it, I didn't like it. I don't remember a single verse or like anything about it, just that it was a supremely meh ERB.
It had
I
no.
thought it was fan made at first.
It had no interesting visuals to it. It just kind of it's kind of there, and I think that with how what kind of shit the ERB produces puts it all the way down to F tier just for how forgettable it is.
When I first saw it, I thought it was like a new Freshie Canal or Snakebite rap battle.
Oh god, you're right. It's not a shining moment for sure.
No,
It is
not
just
to disrespect Freshie Canal or Snakebite. Both are very talented.
they are. But
I
yeah,
had fucking Snakebites, the Riddler versus the Zodiac Killer stuck in my head for like 2 weeks.
no. But yeah,
It
no.
also uses the same beat as a Stupendium song, which is also one of his better songs.
But yeah, no. This one goes in the fucking F tier just because how F are forgettable.
Where it belongs. Alrighty.
Something not forgettable is the first Nice Peter versus Epic Lloyd.
See, my thoughts on this have changed. At the time, it was pretty fun, but they made a second one of this, which is just way better. This kind of, and looking back at this rap battle, a lot of it's kind of round up in like internet humor, while the new one is just devastating. I actually felt like they might be done afterwards. This just
It's basically
at the time it was good.
it's a channel announcement. That's what it is. It's a channel announcement, and it's a very good channel announcement. But it's just a channel announcement. So I think I can put it in like a high D.
Yeah, high ID.
I'd put it. I won't. I won't. I won't. I can't believe it that fucking Sarah Palin versus Lady Gaga is this highly rated.
It's very good.
It's not.
It is. It's great.
Okay, next one.
Leonidas versus Master Chief, or am I forgetting?
Yeah, because I forgot we already did all the Hitlers. So yeah, Neil Eyes versus Master Chief. This one I think goes to a low D. Like it's kind of.
Really?
It's just not. It's not. It's a few good punchlines, but that's kind of it. It's not really anything to really chew on. It makes vague references to the movie, and that's it. Or like, there's no. It doesn't dig deep as all the other ones. It's just really shallow.
The thing I'd put it in C mostly because I finally got what the Monument to My Sins bar was about. I think it should go in C tier because I believe it's the first video game character to appear in any of these, and it is a very solid concept. This a Spartan versus a Spartan. Both, I will say, Master Chief's was a little underdelivered, but clearly they had fun with Leonidas. I'd put it in C. Not even as good as John Lennon, but I think I think it was one of the more solid ones.
I can't.
This is when they started really getting their style
Here's
down.
the thing, though. I can't put that in C while Epic Lord versus Nice Peter versus Epic Lord isn't still D tier. I can't do that. There's no way that is better than this, though.
I'm gonna say it comes down to personal taste because I personally like this battle.
I can see it. Like, I really enjoyed it when I was a kid. Like, I really did thought this was the hypest shit, especially because Girlfriend vs. Boyfriend pranks was still a thing.
Yeah.
I guess I can put it in C, but it is the lowest fucking C possible.
That is agreeable to me. Alrighty. Mario versus Wright Brothers.
This one.
Is this an S?
I was gonna say, I think it's another high A. I don't think we've reached the S tier yet.
It is it is so close to S, but yeah. I will give it to you. The Mario Bros just aren't as strong.
Yeah, it's not long enough. It's not. I know. I don't. It's hard to say in depth, but I feel as though they could have fleshed it out better. And performance-wise, just the performance from the two duos is enough to put it in A tier. I think it's the best A tier we have. I think right now, if we still have it up there, remove Mr. Rogers versus Mr. T. That goes in A tier, but I think everything right now is behind Mario versus Wright Brothers.
That sounds about right. Okay.
Yeah. Next we have Elvis Presley versus Michael Jackson. This might be our first S tier.
My problem with this one is the kid they have playing Michael Jackson at the beginning is just kind of better. Like, if it had just been this kid against Elvis, I think it would have been S. But then they swap out for White Michael, and he's just not as good of a rapper.
That's Epic Lloyd.
I know. Their verses aren't
nice
great
Peter.
for this.
Yeah.
Nice Peter just doesn't sell Michael that well.
I think he does a really good job. I think even...
I think it's an A tier, but I can't recommend an S.
Fair enough. I can see it. I understand. I disagree, but I understand. And so for the sake of this, I will put it in A tier. I'm putting it behind Dr. Seuss versus Shakespeare.
All right. Cleopatra versus Marilyn Monroe.
This is an S tier. I will hear no other arguments. This is their This is their true female versus female rap battle. It is their best. It is fucking brutal.
I'll give it to you. I'll give that. I'll agree with that. It is a very brutal rap battle.
It is the grimiest shit ever. They had to give Marilyn Monroe a third verse just to try to get even, and she does. I think it's definitely S tier. I feel like this one's missed out. I feel like there are other female-oriented ones that kind of missed something until the latest one. But I think the performers are great. The Marilyn Monroe, chic little, movements. The facial expressions, the little, Marlon Brando and the Kennedys, so Epic Lord and Nice Peter, and then fucking the I'm just gonna say it, fucking goddess sexiness of Cleopatra, her belly dancing and her just fire is just amazing. I think it culminates into an S tier.
So tell us how you really feel. Jeez. Nah, I'd agree.
I do think this is S tier. I don't think
Yeah.
many people would. I don't think many people remember this one, but I think it is S tier.
I would agree. I think it's definitely one of their most underappreciated ones. And as we go on, I can see some ones on this list that I would consider S that are pretty underappreciated. But yes, this is our first S, followed by a second S.
Bill Gates
Bill
versus
Gates versus
Steve
Steve Jobs,
Jobs.
I think, is another S.
I don't like the Hal ending.
I mean, I think it's fine. But the fact that genuinely the Bill Gates versus Steve Jobs alone is an S tier, and then we get the HAL 9000 as the cherry on top.
I will see it that way, honestly, because I think if they just had Steve Jobs, I think they were worried about it being too like see through, being just Steve Jobs as Bill Gates, and so they had to include Hal. But I think
Yeah.
genuinely, if they stuck to Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, I think it would have been perfect.
The thing is, we still do get that.
Yeah,
The third verse, it isn't like a lot of ERBs where one person gets two verses and it kind of shits on the first guy. Like, oh, I've died, or I'm just not a good enough rapper. I need someone to help. This genuinely is a rap battle with a little something extra.
I
Also, it shakes up the format.
I will say yes. It does go into S tier. It's not better than Cleopatra versus Marilyn Monroe, though.
Alrighty. And now to lower back down a tier or two. Freddie Mercury versus I don't even remember his name.
Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra. I had a cousin who played with Sinatra. I should know this more.
You're from Chicago.
I'm from Chicago.
You don't know. You live in Illinois, but anyone who lives in Illinois is basically from Chicago.
I'm right outside Chicago. Either you're from the south part of Illinois and you're basically just a hick, or you're from the north part and you're basically just from Chicago.
You have to be around Chicago if you're in the north just for warmth.
But yes, this one I think is Frank Sinatra just doesn't have any good verses.
I was gonna say Freddie Sinatra. I mean, no, not Freddie Sinatra. Fucking. I think Mercury really is one-sided here. I think it carries
Absolutely.
it to a high B. I would not put it in A though.
I'll give it a B tier. It's good, especially because the Freddie Mercury lines are just really good. But yeah, this isn't a fight. This is just them, and they'll make this sin again with Tesla versus Edison. This is just them dunking on a historical figure they don't really like.
Yeah, like they did with. What was their problem with John McCain?
I mean, well, it's even worse than like the later rap battle of Frederick Douglass versus Thomas Jefferson,
I
where it's just them dunking on one side the entire time as
well,
they flail around.
we'll get to that. There's an argument to be made there, but we'll get to that. So, but for now, yeah, low B tier. Frank Sinatra versus Freddie Mercury.
Alrighty, the Doctor versus the Doctor.
This one I think goes into C tier. I know some people are gonna fucking hate me for that, but I believe genuinely that it's just fine. And that
Continue.
I think I'm not a big fan of Doctor Who, right? But
Right.
I think the references they do on his part are just kind of eh. It's really, you don't really know who the Doctor is, friendly, and it really, and juxtaposed to really going hard into every fucking detail possible for Doc Brown. Not Doc Brown. What's his name? Is it Doc Brown?
Yeah, Doc Brown.
Okay, yeah, I got it right. Yeah, but yeah, going in every detail you can possibly have for Back to the Future, I think it's really just not there. I think rhyming wise, they have Watsy again. I think it's there's a lot of spinning plates that really, tantalize you for your little baby eyes. But I think deep down it's not that good.
See, my first gut reaction would be like, no, it should be higher. But then I thought about it. I was watching a Freshie Canal video, and they did Doctor Who versus Doctor Strange. And one of the things about Freshie Canal is they'll reuse ERB opponents, but they flesh them out way more. I think Freshie Canal's video shows exactly what this battle could have been. About if they had, I don't even want to say if they understood the Doctor Who a bit more, if they were just willing to commit to it. Because yeah, I don't know anything about Doctor Who, and I haven't seen Back to the Future. But even I could kind of see they were kind of pulling their punches to make it a bit more, like oh, they were trying to introduce us to the characters before they were trying to make them fight. So yeah, I'll give this a C.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, this next one I consider a sleeper hit for like a high A.
I was gonna say this is the one that me and my brother blasted on repeat. It is. I can't put it in S tier due to our rankings because the last line is literal cold-blooded murder.
Right, but it's definitely one of their sleeper hits for possibly or probably their best.
I don't
Maybe
think
not their best one, but it's a good one.
I don't think it's a sleeper. I think everyone respects this one. By the way, we're talking about Clint Eastwood versus Bruce Lee.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when you think about like the best ERBs, like heck, even the next one on our list comes up, and a lot of the newer ones, this one tends to get forgotten a lot just because there's more that are coming out recently of such a high quality that they forget how vicious this one was.
I think I want to put it. I think it's not as uneven because Bruce Lee does get a lot of shit in. I think.
Yeah, Bruce Lee does go swinging.
I think it. I think this belongs in S tier. I'm gonna be honest.
You know what? Yeah, I'll put it as a low S.
I think it's better than Steve Jobs versus Bill Gates. But still think that Marilyn Monroe versus Cleopatra is still more even keel. I think the last line is so perfectly delivered. It's like it'd be like playing a shitty basketball game for like the first 3 quarters, and then somehow you rally back and you're the last buzzer beater and you win the game.
The problem is I really liked The Crow and I really liked Brandon Lee, so that did hurt. I would put this above Steve Jobs versus Bill Gates if it were longer. I feel like the biggest thing, Steve Jobs versus Bill Gates really played with the format, really played with the formula and made something new. This one played it as the niche they were kind of developing. If it had just been a bit more experimental, I'd place it above. But it's definitely S.
I'm gonna place it above my personal list. I think it's a small matter we don't need to debate, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Alrighty, Batman versus Sherlock Holmes.
This one's hard.
My gut says S, but
it's
according
not.
to our ranking, it's not.
It's not. Okay.
The problem is Sherlock Holmes claps back too hard,
and like the Batman performance is historically not good.
I can overlook that. If we're looking at like punchline for punchline, it's pretty decent for the first half. It's just Sherlock Holmes. Zach is just very comfortable with it. It's a very good performance. He just hits back too hard for Batman to really recover.
I think we have to take everything as a whole, right?
Right.
I think overall, because Batman kind of. Here's the thing. I really like the Robin. I think the Batman is so weak, just because of his performance, that I think it lowers it to a high B tier, like the top B tier. But like, yeah.
B tier feels like a good place for it.
I feel like ERB would agree with us. That's the thing, because they also hate this fucking performance.
Yeah, they also make fun of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Moses versus Santa Claus. I don't like this one.
You really?
It's funny they got Snoop Dogg. It doesn't have the same pizzazz. The best ERBs are the ones I could see myself listening to on a car ride. This one I couldn't do that.
I was gonna say this is an S tier.
I would not put it in S. I'd put it like C or B.
C?
It's just cause it's just kind of a.
You're crazy. What are you talking about? Snoop Dogg is Snoop Dogg, and fucking the elves and shit. Like, he has experimentation. I think it's really good.
I just think it's not good enough to stand among others in the higher tiers.
I'm just saying. Listen, if we're putting Batman and Sherlock Holmes in B tier, I think it has to be above that.
The problem is, though, like when it comes punchline for punchline, it's just not as good. There's a few good, decent ones scattered through, but they really don't get like those kill shots on each other that some of the higher ones do. It kind of feels like it feels like a modern Snoop Dogg thing. They're just kind of rapping to rap. It's more comfortable and relaxed, but not really much of a battle.
That is fair. That is fair.
Snoop Dogg goes on the attack in his first verse. Santa deflects, and so Snoop Dogg's like, "Yeah, but I'm better than you anyway." He doesn't refute any of Santa's barbs. He just tries to, when his attack failed, he instead tries to build himself up, and I don't think it works. It's not much of a battle. It's just two people rapping at each other.
Okay, you've convinced me. I think it goes into a high C then.
Excellent.
I think it's top C so far, but it is C.
Alrighty. Adam versus Eve.
Oh, this one.
Do we really want to talk about this one?
Can we just put it in F?
Yeah, let's just put it in F.
Put it in F. All right, to give
Okay.
it give it a fair shake, it's a. It's just kind of there. Like it's. What are we supposed to get out of it?
It's the most boring of their concepts. They don't do anything interesting with it. It's just a men versus women battle.
Yeah, it. Yeah, F.
F. Now for an S tier.
Wait, which one?
Gandhi versus Martin Luther King.
Yeah, S tier. This is an S tier.
This is it. This is it. I'd put it above Marilyn Monroe versus Cleopatra.
I think that is fair. I think it is. It is S tier.
It's just as iconic as any of the best ERBs. These have two very talented rappers who were clearly loving every second the camera is on there. It's such a weird concept that I love it too.
The ending is fun. I think it is. The production value's there. I think it is S tier.
Alrighty. Tesla versus Edison.
It can't be S tier, even though it is fun.
No.
It can't be S tier.
Yeah, the problem is
I think
Edison just doesn't really get a second verse.
It might be the best A tier we have. I'm not. I guess here's the.
I'd give it A.
It belongs in A, that's for sure. I don't know where in A though. I think it's pretty high up, just because of how good Tesla is. But
Yeah.
I think maybe it goes behind Mr. T versus Mr. Rogers.
I'm putting it as like second highest.
You know what? I will put it there too. That is fair. Because
Alright.
Edison's not bad. He's just not good enough.
Yeah, his first verse is good, but in his second one, he basically doesn't really say anything new.
Yeah.
All right. Lance Armstrong versus Babe Ruth. I like this one.
Yeah, this is a. I think this goes into top A.
Yeah.
This is. It can't go into S. I would say S because it's one of my favorites, but it can't go into S because it's too even keeled. Because Babe Ruth goes too fucking hard.
The thing is, one of the things I like about this one is they gave Lance Armstrong a chance to fight back. Which is something they didn't do for a lot of other ones. They acknowledged the controversy, but he still gets to fight back, and that's why I like this one. He's vicious. He's angry. It's a good one.
He's going fucking goblin mode.
Goblin mode. All right. Skrillex versus Mozart.
This is S tier.
S tier easily.
This is. It's not as even as the other ones. It has to go to bottom S tier. But I feel like Skrillex is just enough to where it can be put into S tier.
It's also, I think, their most iconic rap battle.
They did get real Skrillex to fucking do
it. They actually got Skrillex to do this rap battle. What else are you supposed to say to that?
Well, not in the video, in the live, but
yeah, but a live they did.
Yeah.
But they actually got Skrillex for this. What else are you supposed to say? It's a good one.
It belongs
also,
in S tier.
fun fact.
Yeah.
Fun fact: if you are a fan of Sorrow TV, in one of his Quit Your Bullshit videos, the comment about Skrillex comes from this video.
No one in the forum's gonna like that. We're downvoted to hell now. I hope you realize that.
People like Sorrow TV,
but they don't want to be reminded of the dead.
No, I miss Sorrow TV. Come back to us, please.
He won't.
He won't. Anyway, we're about halfway through our time and a third of the way through the ERBs.
Yeah, speaking of not coming back, Stalin's dead as fuck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this episode's going over. Let's just say that now. Let's not rush this. Anyway.
I like this one. This is one of their more famous ones. They had a lot of fun. The Putin jokes didn't age well. This is a great rap battle. I'd call this high B, maybe low A.
I'd say high B, because the Putin and the end part kind of taper off. The Putin's a weak ender. Even before everything,
Yeah.
Putin's a weak ass ender.
They were really relying off the haha Putin strong meme and nothing else.
Yeah.
But the other performances are inventive and creative enough to justify its position in B.
Yeah, I'd say it's the best B one so far. It's the first group one too, so it has
Hmm.
significance.
So this next one, Capone versus Blackbeard, used to be my favorite.
It used to be my favorite too. It is possibly S tier.
Very close. It is so close. I think trying to separate my feelings. Obviously, they got an Assassin's Creed sponsorship, so they had to put him in there. But also, I think that kind of helped them. Giving it helped them because Assassin's Creed 4 aged well.
It did.
If Assassin's Creed 4 had flopped, this rap battle would have flopped. But it gives Capone's his second verse some real bite to it. And rap so hard, call me al dente is a great line. But also, we can't undersell Blackbeard. He is a great opponent.
Yeah, Nice Peter does one of the only convincing pirate accents I think I've ever heard in my life outside of Pirates of the Caribbean.
I really did like the fact that he was the first one to point out that I'll just kill you. I have a pirate ship.
I'll just kill you. I do love it. Like, this is the first time, this is the first rap battle that went, wait a minute, these guys just want to fucking kill each other.
And then the Capone response of "my kids dress up like you for Halloween" is a perfect response.
I think this has to be S tier.
It's good.
It,
You've talked me to S.
it has to be S tier. I think it might be at the bottom of S tier. I don't know. I'd put it above Bill Gates versus Steve Jobs.
I'm actually going to move Bill Gates versus Steve Jobs down a bit. Yeah.
I think Al Capone belongs there. I don't think it's not as devastating as Clint Eastwood versus Bruce Lee, so I'll put it
No.
behind there. But it definitely makes its way into the middle of the pack.
Absolutely. It is a great rap battle, and I'd call this one another underrated classic.
Now, not for a not so one. Joan of Arc versus. Remember why I sung the praises of Cleopatra versus Marilyn Monroe? Because this one fucking sucks. This one's
Just
straight dog water.
to try and say some good about this, they at least tried to play it straight. They were trying with this one. It's just this was doomed from the start.
It's such a dumb concept with an even like. I don't know how they got anything out of this. I don't think they still made it, but I don't think it's F, right? It's just F. Like, I want to put it in D,
Yeah.
but it's really F. Spiritually, it's F.
It sounds good, but it's F. There's nothing.
I think it's the best produced. I think it's the highest F we have, but it's still F.
Easily. Alrighty. Fucking Pablo Picasso versus Bob Ross.
This is C. It's kind of mid.
I don't remember a thing about this battle.
It's C. It kind of just exists. It's really fun and lighthearted. Like you said, it's like, Moses versus Santa Claus, but I think it's just kind of there. It's not really impactful in any way. It's C. It's passable.
Alrighty. Now for a good one. Michael Jordan versus Muhammad Ali.
This might be another S one.
It's close. It's pretty high up there. It's just got a great energy. Two athletes rapping about when they're making fun of each other's failings, but also who are talking about when they're at the top of their game. There's a real love shown for both athletes in this.
Love. They get grimy.
They get grimy, but it's clear the writers didn't, or the writers cared.
I think it goes into S. I don't know where though. I think it is better than Gandhi versus Muhammad Ali just because they have more time.
That is a take I wasn't expecting. Oh, okay, that just broke. Sorry, I'm trying to fix a Fallout 4 plasma rifle stand I have.
You're a schmuck.
Fuck you.
But yeah, I think
Alright.
Michael Jordan versus Muhammad Ali is the best S tier we have so far.
I would agree with that. That is a take I didn't expect to hear, but now that you've said it, I can't disagree.
It is just really good.
Yes.
Now, this is Donald Trump versus you know, what's his fuck
Ebenezer Scrooge
Ebenezer
and the three
Scrooge.
ghosts of Christmas. This one aged horribly.
No fucking shit. This is an age so bad. If you put it in a vacuum, I think it's possibly B, higher B.
Although this does remind me, technically, this makes it so because this rap battle exists. It means Donald Trump is one of the few returning rap battlers.
It does mean that he's been in 3.
He's been in three. He's one of the very few who's actually been around a couple of times.
I Here's the thing. We have this has become a fucking leader in history's conundrum of, do we judge it in a vacuum or do we judge it to the standards of today?
And what, like, it feels like a bad Simpsons joke, even if you ignore who Donald Trump is now. This feels like a bad Simpsons joke.
The thing is, uh, J.P. Morgan and Death carry it to, I think, at least a B.
Really? B? I'd put it in C.
No, no. Here's the thing. Okay, Ebenezer Scrooge. It's Zach again. He does great through the entire thing. That J.P. Morgan's great. Okay, is a precursor to Epic Lord playing basically Theodore Roosevelt. And Death's final verse from Nice Peter is fucking fanatic. And also, Donald Trump's opening verse isn't that bad. In fact, I think it's pretty good for what it is.
You, I genuinely haven't seen this battle in a while, so maybe it's better than I'm remembering. I'll take your word for it. I'll put it in a low. I'll put it as the lowest B.
That's fair. I think just we can't objectively be higher, but we're not living in an objective vacuum for universe. It's
Yes,
just it's gotten too weird. It is a
it
weird property that we have to deal with.
it is aged too poorly. If Donald Trump like faded from the public consciousness after this battle was created, maybe it'd be higher. He didn't.
This is a very Woody Allen movie situation.
Now for one I kind of like, but I it's Walter White versus Rick Grimes.
This is a C tier.
This is the most like internet thing they've made.
It really is. It's the highest C tier, but it has nothing really going for it.
Absolutely. Like this was made at the height of both of these shows' popularity. The bars themselves, once again, Freshie Canal did a great video where he reused White and went way more in depth with what Walter White could look like as a rapper. Like the thing is, it sounds good. They're a bit crueler to each other than fucking who else did we put pretty low because of this?
I was gonna say Billy Mays versus Ben Franklin.
Yeah, they're a bit crueler to each other than previous things, but it just doesn't have enough substance.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a perfect example of this is just a more this is a better version of Moses versus Santa Claus, but it still doesn't have
Exactly.
anything really going for it.
And then right after this, we have a slightly better version of this battle, Superman versus Goku.
This I think is also C tier.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the same rap battle, but again, it would have been better if it had been longer. Like, Superman gets some good punchlines. Goku kind of hits back pretty well. I really like his comment about how boring Superman's powers were, but ERB doesn't know anything about Dragon Ball, and it shows.
Yeah,
They only know the most surface level things, especially with how they chose to direct the actor who plays Goku.
I think
Um,
it's not Ray's fault. Ray does great.
they just genuinely didn't know enough about Dragon Ball to really make it a super good one. It's all the pop culture things that everybody knows and nothing more.
I think yeah. I think again we have another top C, but it does not go
hmm
that far enough.
Edgar Allan Poe versus Stephen King, another one of my favorites.
Yeah, this is A.
A is a good one. It just feels like to me it feels like a better version of Shakespeare versus Dr. Seuss.
I agree with that assessment. I think it's wrong, but I agree that is an assessment you can make.
I
I
think that
I think
the
it's top
rappers are more
A.
evenly balanced.
Yeah. I
The
don't think
rappers are more.
I,
Continue,
I was
please.
gonna say it's not going to S tier. I think Stephen King is too good to make it S tier, truly. But I think It might
I
be
just
S
think
tier.
I don't think the quality of the writing is S tier, but I like it.
I think it's top A. So
It's definitely near the top of A.
next we have
Bill
Bill
Newton
not
versus Isaac. What the fuck did I say?
Bill Newton.
I was gonna say Isaac Clarke.
That's a different writer or two writers.
uh, Isaac Newton versus Bill Nye with a surprise cameo from Neil deGrasse Tyson. This is a great one.
I'm gonna go high B.
High B is good. I could see it being A. Weird Al just has incredible charisma in everything he's in.
Yeah, I think it
The
has
Neil
to.
de-
I think it has to be an A. Now that I think about it more, pretty high actually.
the Neil deGrasse Tyson cameo is great, but also Bill Nye does give pretty good.
Yeah, it has the worst unintentional diss ever.
What do you? Which one?
The one where when you know, Tyson comes in and gets pick on our brain your own size, implying that Bill
Yeah,
Nye was a very bad opponent.
just a bit. It's a good one though. Now for a D tier. I don't like William Wallace versus George Washington.
I love this one. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's just they just wanted an excuse to scream at each other.
And sometimes I think it belongs in B. I'm not an idiot. Okay, I will not go to C tier for this because there's too many other C tier ones. This one has energy. This one has the writing. This one has everything we're looking for.
You know what? I'll put it in low B because yeah, I will say it's genuinely better than Goku versus Superman or Walter White versus Rick Grimes.
I think it goes
You know,
behind.
it's a bit higher. It's a bit higher than Scrooge versus Donald Trump.
I was gonna say it goes right behind Hitler versus Vader 3 in my opinion.
I'm putting it right behind Napoleon versus Napoleon.
Fair enough.
This one might be an S tier. The TMNT versus the Renaissance.
This one I want to put in C.
Really?
Maybe B. Here's my reasoning. All right, the Renaissance artists are fucking fantastic. Fucking Dan Smosh and you know Good Mythical Morning, Rhett and Link, Anthony and do phenomenal work. The TMNT side is really fucking dull to me. And I love TMNT. I'm the biggest turtlehead you'll find there. We don't call ourselves turtleheads, I don't think.
Who's your favorite turtle?
Raphael.
Of course, you fucking poser.
But listen, I love this battle. Half of it. I love half of this battle. This may be personal bias, but the Team Mutant Turtles are so disappointing that I have to give it B. It's just not there.
B sounds good to me. Alrighty. Mythbusters versus the Ghostbusters.
I think this is A tier. I would say A tier because Ghostbusters Marshmallow Man breakdancing is pretty cool.
I guess that's fair. I would have liked more with the actual main Mythbusters, but I mean I guess it's a testament to how well they do that their first verse is enough to match the Ghostbusters.
Yeah. I think
I'll put it in A.
Yeah, the B team is underdeveloped, but I think it's still good.
I'll put it in A, right above Hitler versus Vader.
Yes.
All right, Bonnie and Clyde versus Romeo and Juliet.
This is S tier.
A banger.
This is S tier.
Yeah, this is an S tier.
This is S tier. I think this is I think this is the most even match so far.
Definitely.
Like bar for bar, there is no equal. I think it goes above everything else. I think it's the best S tier we have so far, just for how even keel the performances, the endings, the switch to it's experimental. I think it's the best one.
I don't know if I consider it the best one in terms of like they get vicious with each other, but I think Muhammad Ali versus Michael Jordan, they're a bit the individual verses are better, but this is like second place to me.
I'll take second place because I think it is S tier though. I think people forget how good this one is.
It's a very good one. All right, another S tier, maybe the best. This is Thor versus Zeus.
This is S tier for sure.
I consider it the best one, at least right now.
I would agree with you. It is the first Lego one. So the production value is off the fucking chart. Forest Fire. Mm-hmm. How did you go from making the Duck song did this.
It was, I believe it's one of, if not the first, to have three verses.
I believe so. Yeah. Well, technically, uh, yeah. Well, no, Michael Jackson. No, not Michael Jackson. Muhammad Ali versus Michael Jordan has three verses, I believe.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Uh, this one though, I mean, it set a trend. It set the trend that the Lego ones would be good. There's only two Lego ones, and both are absolute fire. But it all started here. The groundwork this set, it's also just good concept, great execution. They are brutal with each other. They clearly did their homework on Norse and Greek mythology. This isn't just the pop culture versions of Thor and Zeus. This is people who sat down and read history textbooks. It's great.
It is the best one so far. I will agree.
All right. Hannibal Lecter versus Jack the Ripper. I'd consider this one of it. I think this is my personal favorite.
You really?
Really.
I think it belongs to S tier, I believe. I think it's very even keel. I don't think it's the best one. I'd put it behind Romeo and Juliet. I think it's our fourth place.
Fourth place is good. It's Dan Bull's introduction to ERB. Great matchup, and the two bounce off each other very well.
But yeah,
It's a great one.
The performance, the atmosphere, especially on Jack the Ripper's part, is very good. I think it does belong to S tier.
Hell yeah.
I'm not surprised. I'm surprised it's your favorite though.
My previous, I thought about it. I have two favorites. My two favorites are this and Shaka Zulu versus Caesar, and trying to think of which one is objectively better because both are great, but this one ekes it out a bit.
Yeah, we'll get to that one later. I think this is Ellen DeGeneres versus
Oprah. F.
I was gonna say, I don't know if this has plummeted or stock has risen because of the recent controversy with Ellen and everything else.
I haven't heard any of the controversies with Ellen or Oprah. I just don't like this one.
Really?
Really, I have not heard any of the controversy. I just genuinely don't like this one.
Oh no, Ellen, no, because if you remember this one, this is all Ellen. Like her whole defense is just being cutesy and wholehearted, and ever since it's revealed that she's a terrible fucking monster, all of those don't work. This has
you know what? That's fair.
This is F tier. Just history failed epic rap battles of history.
That is such a raw line. History failed epic rap battles of history.
It really is that case of just like Oprah Winfrey failed in Wrinkle of Time. Like it's just if they made it today, it'd be the hottest shit ever.
Would it? When was the last time anybody thought about Oprah?
But no, I feel like they'd make us care again. Just because of the amount of shit they can bring up.
I guess, but Oprah is a celebrity that was top of her game in the 2000s and completely faded from relevancy in the 2010s.
Maybe you like her book club. I don't know.
She has a book club now?
It's not a book club. It's a thing where every book that's in her book club gets stamped and is sold. I work in a Barnes & Noble.
Anyway, Steven Spielberg versus Hitchcock. This is a good one.
This might be. I don't know if it's S tier. I want to put it in S tier, but I think my heart says A tier.
I was gonna say A tier, just because they're not clearly shooting at like the problem with this one, and I think the problem with all the big rap outs with a lot of people is because they have to introduce new rappers each time. The rappers quickly need to fire at everybody before getting replaced, so there isn't a definitive winner. Like Alfred Hitchcock versus Steven Spielberg, they have a pretty good rapport. But then Tarantino and fucking Spielberg. Did I already say Spielberg?
No.
They come in and they're very good, but they have to quickly fire off at the original two, and the original two don't get to come back. Then Michael Bay comes in. He's great. It's a great rap battle, but it's not an amazing.
I think it's top of A tier.
It's up there.
Not
put it top actually.
Yeah, I maybe below, maybe behind Stephen King versus Edgar Allan Poe. I think it's second. It's at least second. Next we have I believe Lewis and Clark versus Bill and Ted.
This is another good one. I put this high B.
This is high B. I think this might be the top B, just because it's very well done. It's just the concept itself is just it's very well explored, but you can't get too much from it.
Yeah. It's a silly concept that they had a lot of fun making, but there isn't a lot of potential for like really hard disses. I mean, they said the biggest one. Lewis kills himself.
Yeah.
That was the biggest one they got.
They listen. This is the best. This is the most well executed Black Guy Lightning meme ever. But no,
You don't even say his name, just Black Guy Lightning meme?
no, everyone knows him that now. No one remembers Low Tier God. Everyone just knows him as a kill yourself guy now.
Alrighty.
Which, to be fair, when he was known as Black Low Tier God, his catcher is basically kill yourself, so it is fair.
He made a great spaghetti.
He did make a great spaghetti. But yeah, no, this is probably the most well executed concept in B tier. It's just that the concept itself isn't all that great.
Alrighty. Harry Houdini versus David Copperfield.
Another B tier?
I'd consider it a B tier. It was so good that David Copperfield sent Nice Peter a signed copy of his book.
That is true. Yes, I believe it's very even keel. It's not too hard in any direction. The Chris Angel one, the Chris Angel is pretty funny.
It is a very funny. It is a very funny because I vaguely remember Chris Angel. I remember as a kid seeing his commercial and wanting to know more about him, and my parents just told me, "No, you're not doing that."
I think it's second place. I think it's behind Bill and Ted because that was too
Agreed.
well executed. But I think it's second place in B tier.
Agreed. RoboCop versus Terminator.
Here's the thing. This could go either an A or C for me.
RoboCop versus Terminator was one of their like. This truly elevated ERB as a thing, but the rap battle itself is just okay.
It's very much catchphrasey. Like it's nothing but punch.
Yep.
It's nothing but like I'm gonna say my line, you're gonna say your line, and we're gonna have fun.
This popularized their 3-bar format. It was two very big characters. They got all their lines. The backgrounds were well done. Makeup. They really, really experimented with their makeup here. It's just okay.
I'd top it at C.
I was gonna say, yeah, top of CT. Eastern philosophers versus Western philosophers. I feel like this is one of the more popular ones. My opinion has switched on it, time and time again. Sometimes I really like it. Sometimes I think it's just okay.
I think this might be the first group one that sneaks into S tier. I think it's too well executed concept wise with the lines and everything. The costuming is great. I feel like it just has to be S tier for the sake of it being the only group one that is S tier.
I'm sick of it. I'm going to put it in S tier, and I don't want to think about it anymore. I've just heard it too much. If you ask people what their favorite ERB is, a lot of them will say this one. I just hear too much. I just never hear people shut up about it.
That means it has to be good at least somewhat.
Yeah, it's of an objectively high quality. I just never want to hear it again.
It is S tier though.
Shaka Zulu versus Caesar. This one was my favorite for a while.
This one I think is also S tier.
Really?
Here's the thing. Okay, it has to be A tier because I'm thinking about it now. Given our rules, it's Caesar takes it away too far in the end for it to be truly even. But I think it is top of A tier.
It's up there. This is another one. I will say, this is probably modern ERB. Tends to have a lot of really good, memorable ones. This is one of the few modern ERBs that I feel like has been forgotten. You never hear people talk about this one. I'm gonna put it top of A. It used to be my favorite, but yeah, especially because there are missed opportunities. Shaka obviously points out that Caesar was killed by his friends, but Caesar never points out that Shaka was killed the exact same way. He instead goes for the slavery angle, which is a very effective one. It definitely swings it back in his favor, but
it's like
it's close to S.
It's like this is why your mama dead. This is why I own your mama.
This one was could have been closer to S. What am I saying? I feel like this was almost perfect. If they had kept it in the oven a bit longer, I feel like this battle would have been one of the best. As it stands, though, personal favorite, can't put it any higher than A.
Yeah, that is true. I think it is. just historically their strongest one. It just if it was a little bit more, it would be A. I mean S.
All right.
This one,
Stanley, continue, please.
I guess no. Go ahead.
Stanley versus Jim Henson. It's a good one.
I want to say S.
Honestly, most people, I'd agree with you. It's an S tier.
It is S tier.
Although,
Go
I'll
ahead.
continue, please.
No, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, as we get to modern ERB, we're in the golden age of ERB right now. I'd say.
Yeah, they have not fallen off at any metric.
Well, like specifically this run to about maybe I'd say from this to it ends with Austin Powers versus James Bond. This is ERB's golden age. Almost every single one is an S tier from this point onward, up to I think Caitlyn Jenner versus Bruce Banner brings it back down.
We'll get to
But right
that
now,
one.
we will. Almost every single thing from now on is an S tier.
Right, yeah. I'd say most of it goes into A or S, but we'll see. Because now we have Boba Fett versus Deadpool. This one,
Continue, please.
this one I don't know if it belongs in S tier, just because conceptually it's kind of just wacky.
Well, here's the thing. They had hyped up this feud for a while. This was a community thing. I never knew about this. I think it's an S tier. I'm a big fan of Boba Fett. I'm a big Star Wars fan. You know that I love Mandalorians, but I'm a comics person. I think they executed this concept so perfectly it makes you care.
It's too good not to put in S tier. I just don't feel like it should be. It feels like a very sneak into heaven sort of situation.
Absolutely. Now a runner up for one of my. This one's probably my third favorite. Tolkien versus Martin.
This is S tier, no doubt. This is possibly third place.
I'm going to put it second place. I think it might be one of the best ones they've ever made.
You're right. It does belong in second place. Yeah,
the bars are great. Costuming's great. Set is great.
I was worried the two people of color would be on top for too long. Thank God we got rid of that.
I almost spit out my drink. You fuck.
I was too worried that we got too woke. Thank God we got on the right track. Thank God this video isn't political anymore.
Oh my God. To get back to the battle, it's great. Costuming, set, concept. The actors were in. They bought a foot fetish magazine for this.
They made one probably.
I think they did make one, but they own that now.
It's in their props.
They committed to it.
It's somewhere there.
Exactly. Alrighty. Julia Child versus. Oh, continue, please.
I was gonna say this one goes into D tier for me.
Really, you're not a big fan of Julia Child versus Gordon Ramsay?
I think Gordon Ramsay just kind of is weak, and Julia Child is really good, but like it's just maybe not D tier, maybe top is high C.
I would have put it in A, but I can see where you're coming from.
Oh, Gordon Ramsay is just very Gordon Ramsay. It's his character and not the man.
That's fair. Ignore that loud noise. Sorry, I just dropped something on my foot. Ignore that.
You're cooking up a fucking Campbell's chicken noodle soup on a fucking gas stove. Single burner.
Are you kidding? I was about to say, you think I can afford that? I'm heating up a literal metal plate with a lighter.
With a Bic.
With a Bic. I have a Bic lighter I've been playing with as we record.
Uh-huh. I've been playing with a Bic lighter and my dog. Not at the same time.
I'd hope not.
But yeah, no, this one, for me personally, I don't think it holds up as well. I think when it first splashed out, I was like, oh shit. But like, it doesn't hold up.
That's fair. That's a good argument. It doesn't hold up as well as when it first came out. I'm going to put it low B.
I agree. It's the lowest B for me. I gotta move B around a little bit, but like, it is definitely lower B.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to move B around too, because there's no way Donald Trump versus Scrooge is better than this. Alrighty. Next one. Frederick Douglass versus Thomas Jefferson. I don't like this one.
I love this one.
The problem is it started so promising, but they don't let Thomas get a second verse.
Well, here's the thing, right? Thomas going at it from the same direction as like I'm the greatest shit basically has to own up to being like yeah, I own slaves, so what? And that's not a good look.
I think there was an argument though that to be made that by the standards of his time, he was considered a revolutionary with this. I think the argument should have been because they kind of start off with this: who was more impactful to America, Frederick Douglass or Thomas Jefferson? Essentially he starts talking about all his contributions he did to America as like Greater America. And Frederick Douglass, I think, absolutely made Frederick Douglass calling him out for his hypocrisy and his slavery was a good decision. I just wish Thomas would have gotten a real chance to refute him.
I think he did. I think his
He,
argument was just the best he could make, because what else did he have?
I think there was an easy argument to make about his contributions to like the verses he has about what he did. Like he fought the slave trade in Virginia. He was vastly against it. He hated it. I think those were things he really could do. I think they should have argued what he did in spite of those sins on his career. And then Frederick Douglass's lines about him still being kind of a hypocrite, I think would still hit very hard. But at least he would have gotten a chance to kind of swing it back to him.
I think it's too good to put it anything below B. It's a message rap battle, and I'm okay with that. I think it belongs in A, but I will say if you don't, I can see where you're coming from. I think personally it's A, but for the sake of continuity, I think it goes into high. It's A for me. It can't go lower than A though. I just can't.
I'm gonna put it in B.
I it has to be A though.
I'm gonna put it. I've just put it in B. You can't stop me.
My video feed is gonna get recorded in before yours. Fuck you.
You almost never use my footage anyway. Nothing's changing.
Because your audio sucks anyway.
Both our audio sucks.
Reddit, comment down in the post below. I don't know how Reddit works.
You're the one who wants us to have a Reddit community.
You're a Reddit community.
Fuck you.
Alright,
I'm gonna listen to Sarah Palin versus Lady Gaga now.
You're gonna get flamed for that. I can guarantee you. If this gets any traction, you're gonna get flamed for that.
Absolutely. Anyway, James Vaughn versus Austin Powers.
A.
A good one. A great one. Yeah, A.
High A.
High A. Not an S tier. Austin Powers was never going to really be able to fight against James Bond, but they have enough fun with the concept that it still works.
I take second place A.
I'm giving it third. Alrighty. Oh boy, this one's a testy one.
Now let's see. You are possibly more capable of speaking on this better than I am, as certain, let's just call them characteristics to your character, and a journey of sorts for you. Maybe it has some deep-seated implications for this that I may be missing.
Caitlyn Jenner's a piece of shit, and I hate her. So starting off first, the first verse for both of them is actually very good.
It is
like the Bruce Banner, Bruce Jenner verses are absolute fire, and everybody forgets just how hard they go. The problem is
it breaks down fast.
The problem is the moment Caitlyn Jenner comes on screen, they kind of get really preachy, and I get it. They want to spread trans awareness. I'm a trans person. You could have picked anyone better than Caitlyn Jenner.
You could have picked Lady Gaga.
They could have picked Lady Gaga.
Oh my god.
Fucking Caitlyn Jenner is a terrible, terrible representation of our community. And it doesn't help that the Hulk just
is a bumbling
stops being a rapper. He's a bumbling idiot. Once again, Freshie Canal did a Hulk rap battle. Frankenstein versus Bruce Banner, amazing rap battle. It got stuck in my head forever after I heard it, because the first verse between Dr. Frankenstein and Bruce are amazing, but then just Hulk has a great flow. And listen to that. Don't listen to this. I'm putting this F tier.
This is F tier.
If you want a good Hulk rap battle, go look up Freshie Canal's Frankenstein versus the Hulk video. Alexander the Great versus Ivan the Terrible. This appeals to my history nerd.
I'd say this belongs in S tier.
I would agree. It's a very, very well constructed rap battle. I'm gonna put it right under Marilyn Monroe versus Cleopatra.
That's fair. I think it go. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Alrighty. Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. F.
I say D.
Defend it. Defend it.
D for Donald Trump.
Jesus Christ.
It's listen. It's grimy. It can't let it be said that it isn't. Once again, history has failed every rap battles of history. Okay.
Even if it didn't, this would still be a preachy nothing rap battle.
I think it's D. I think it sounds well enough to stay out of F, but just fucking barely.
Genuinely, I think it would have aged worse if Hillary won.
That is fair enough. But I think
it would have aged even worse if Hillary won.
I don't think it's a failure. I think it's a miss. They had a vision and they executed it. The vision was awful. It's well done. It's well done. It's not a failure.
The problem is they immediately have another presidential rap battle, and it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, we'll get to that one later, but
fine. I'll put this in lowest D. Hitler versus Vader 2, I'd watch any day. I'd watch Billy Mays versus Ben Franklin first.
This one goes hard just if you're an alien. If you don't have to suffer the consequences of Earth, then this was fucking...
If you don't have to suffer the consequences of either of the people in this rap battle.
Alright, back to a good one.
Ash Ketchum versus Charles Darwin. This is a good one. I wouldn't call it an S or anything.
No,
I think this is a high B.
No, I think it's an S. Here's why. I think it is the most fair, even rap battle. Think about it, bar for bar. It is... it is a split decision. I think for that sake alone, it goes into bottom S tier.
I don't know if it's... Like, it is very solid. But Matt Forio's performance is terrific. But I just... I feel like this is where I'm going to have to come from. Like, a production angle, I find it pretty disappointing.
Also,
obviously, there's the great Pokeball... Oh.
Wait, Matt Forio, he wasn't Ash.
I thought he wrote this.
He helped write it. He didn't write it. Even then, it wouldn't be a performance.
Fucking, you know what I mean.
No. Okay, he helped write it. He helped give some bars to it. He did not write it himself. EOB didn't just say, fucking poke a nerd. But yeah.
From this one, I'm going to... the reason it's not higher than me, from a visual standpoint, it's very boring. There's the Pokeball scene, which is great. That's all they've got.
That is fair. I guess visually it is a lesser quality. I will put it in A, though. It's not going lower than A.
It's A. I'll call it A. I'm not giving it S.
Fair enough. I think it is the most even one ever, though. It gets special brownie points in my heart for that.
Okay. Stevie Wonder versus Wonder Woman.
Another A.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. I don't have... much to say about it. It's just a solid rap battle.
It's just really solid. It's a goofy... It's instead of like, where I'm what was it? Bill and Ted versus Lewis and Clark. It's a goofy idea still with, real person next to, fucking Pulp Fiction, but it has some deeper lines that, kind of play around with other ideas besides its very own fiction.
Yeah. They're able to also get really mean with each other.
They are really mean with each other.
Like, what are you supposed to say about Bill and Ted and Lewis and Clark?
Yeah.
You
killed himself? My dad did it 50 years ago. No one cares.
Especially because, like, Bill and Clark, John Wick hadn't come out, so all they had on Keanu was Matrix.
Yeah.
It's a nothing one. Nowadays, if they made that rap battle, it'd still be bad because what are you supposed to say about Lewis and Clark? But at least there'd be more to say about Bill and Ted.
I like that this stopped going back to dunking on Lewis and Clark again.
Fuck those nerds. All right, Wayne Gretzky versus skateboarder Tony Hawk. You see, I was literally about to say, man, everybody forgets Tony Hawk ever exists, and I literally forgot his name there.
You became the meme. I
I
think.
feel bad for Tony Hawk.
Why? He has kids. He has like 7 ex-wives. It's okay.
The problem is Tony Hawk was such a mega celebrity for like years, and nobody knows a thing about him, and that celebrity status just faded. Like Tony Hawk is true. I remember the last time I ever heard anything about Tony Hawk, the Misfits did a video where they were in his neighborhood and just found him skateboarding. Like Tony Hawk deserves better.
I think Tony Hawk deserves exactly what he wants, and this is what he wants. He's just kind of a dude.
He should. I feel like he deserves better. He gave us so much and gets so little in return, which was how this rap battle felt to listen to.
High B, top B.
High B, not top B, but it's high.
I'm gonna put it above Lewis and Clark though, and that's our top B currently.
You know what? Fair.
Not
An S tier.
S tier, yeah. This is
We got a few S's.
it's too iconic and historic to not put an S.
I'm gonna put it as the top of S.
I'm gonna put it in third place.
I feel like obviously they had hyped up Teddy Roosevelt for years up to this point, but they needed someone with who could stand up against him. Winston Churchill was already an amazing choice, but getting Dan Bolin for it really sold it.
Yeah.
When you watch this rap battle, you feel who else could they have brought to fight Teddy? No one else. It's a great rap battle.
We have then
Nice Peter versus Epic Lloyd.
2. This one I believe might be also A.
Hey, really?
Maybe top of B. I don't. It's
Really?
What do you mean? What
I thought it'd be higher.
you want to put it in S?
I don't know if I'd want to put it in S, but I think it has aspects of it that are S.
I think it's top of A then, because I think it's
Yeah.
so personal and vitriolic, but still understanding a compat. I think it's so weirdly enough. This is like the emblematic of a healthy work relationship.
It has the vitriol of Marilyn Monroe versus Cleopatra, but I don't know. Yeah, I think because it's the two creators, it has this certain. You have to look at it from a different angle. I don't know. I definitely think it's a good like top of A. But yeah, it's an amazing rap battle made by two people who know each other better than anything. Yeah, I'm running out of words to say about it. It's just good.
Yeah, I guess top A. Yeah, this
Alrighty.
this might be our first C in the while. I think this is fine return. It's the first one, independent. So it's the weird production issues, not issues, but it looks kind of lacking.
Musk versus fucking Zuckerberg. Not aged well.
Not aged well. That's also a thing. It is not aged well.
It is aged awfully because the whole gimmick behind Musk in this one was his billionaire playboy gimmick, and we have learned within the last year that was a lie.
I think for what Musk was in that moment,
Yeah, I don't disagree with the C tier.
I believe it is top of C because for what it was, this return to form, it was very promising.
Yeah, I'll give it top of C. It is a very solid rap battle. It's just once again time has failed these creators. I'm gonna steal that. It's a great
Why
line.
is ERB now like this eldritch being who's just disappointed in humanity?
No, it's like humanity's ancestral guardian who. It's like when you read like the Giving Tree as a little kid.
Oh no! Why? Oh no! Why does this fucking epic lord look like Shel Silverstein?
Oh, he looks like Freddy Krueger in this next one.
Oh my god, he does.
No, he doesn't.
No, well, no, yeah, he plays Wolverine. You fucking idiot.
He plays Wolverine, not
fake
Fuck
fucking
you.
fan. We can't.
Fuck you.
We had to scrap the video now. It's revealed.
Do you know how long we're an hour and a half into this video?
I'm gonna go an hour and a half yard in your jaw. How about that?
Jesus Christ. Hold on, I'm checking my footage. Yep, over an hour and a half into the recording.
And
Freddy Krueger versus Wolverine. Solid one.
I'd say go top of B, maybe.
Yeah, I like it. I like it as a B tier.
It's not A.
Weird. It's a weird matchup. they execute it well, but it's a weird matchup where genuinely these two characters have nothing to do with each other.
But it's too well done to like not put it
Yeah.
above it. Yeah.
Alrighty. Che Guevara versus Guy Fawkes.
Top of B again, I guess.
I get this one was a weird one, but I really liked it.
Che Guevara can fucking strap me to a bench and fucking stick the entire Communist Manifesto in my prostate.
Jesus. And I always love some more rep for Guy Fawkes. I will say, this is the first one where I'm going to bring up Freshy Canal in a way that isn't just saying he did this better. Because they're very stupendium as Guy Fawkes is great. They really hype up his fact he's a terrorist. But leaning into the inherent silliness of Guy Fawkes, I think also works. Where they lacked in punchlines, because they could have used some things like the John Johnson line, or what exactly are they fighting for. What they lacked in and punchlines, I think they made up for in pure character and design.
Yeah, I think that was the two. Che Guevara is also played
Amazing.
Perfect casting.
Too perfect casting. He just looks like actually Che Guevara came back.
Yeah. I was like, man, I'm getting malaria for this guy.
The Burger King versus McDonald. I'd say this is S.
Really?
Really. I think this is a classic ERB that people had been asking for since ERB started. And not only did they execute it perfectly, the Wendy's cameo at the end, yeah, everybody saw it coming, but I think it was really well done. They took a concept people had wanted forever and just did it as best as they possibly could.
I'd say this is fair enough.
I'm going to put it mid-S.
Yeah.
And now...
I have it behind Al Capone versus Blackbeard.
For this next one, remember how earlier you took for the Caitlyn Jenner versus Bruce Banner, you took a moment to appreciate my connection to the community?
Yeah.
I'm going to do the exact same here. You have a bit of a tie here that I don't, a bit of a bond that I can't quite appreciate.
Yeah, what she's referring to is the fact that I've actually have done stand-up before, both in, my high school and middle school talent shows, and gone to bars and done stand-up. I in fact, I'm helping Pip with a school assignment where she has to basically reread Bill Hicks' things.
Brister loves traditional stand-up comedians.
I do. And so with this one, I believe it belongs firmly in A.
Really?
I believe... Because Bill Cosby's a joke, it's funny, fuck that guy. But also, Robin Williams, the final one, is just really heartwarming. They really give respects to Jonah Rivers, which not a lot of people do these days. She's kind of been a forgotten female comedian that was very much a spearhead, so good on them. Richard Pryor and George Carlin. Richard Pryor is too young. I feel like they should have done old Richard Pryor more. I don't think you can't do young George Carlin. He's been old forever.
That's fair.
But Robin Williams, I think, carries this all the way into A tier. I don't know where exactly. I think higher.
I'm putting it third.
I think so too. It is very good.
Hell yeah. That's why I knew you would have some good insight on this. Now for the next one. Jacques Cousteau versus Steve Irwin. I don't like this one as much as... The problem with some of the newer ERBs is they'll have one person I really like and then just not the other.
I don't like Jacques Cousteau. I'm a weirdo. I know about Jacques Cousteau a little bit, not just because of the Wes Anderson film.
I knew a little bit about Jacques Cousteau, but this one and then the next one of Mother Teresa versus Dr. Freud, just two shining examples of I like one of these people and don't really care about the other, and they don't win me over.
I think this one goes into top of B.
B's good.
It's a very playful one. It is the most playful one.
I'm going to give it second in B because I like Che Guevara versus Guy Fawkes more.
Fair enough. Now, this one, I know you mentioned what you just did. However, I think this one deserves A tier, and here's one specific reason why. Out of every single performance in the history, future and now, what we've already done, Mother Teresa will be the best one.
I'd give it that. The actress they had playing Mother Teresa. I watched the behind-the-scenes one for this, and I forget her name, but hearing about her experience with it genuinely was very fascinating. So even if I didn't like the rap battle, I'll put respect on her name
Yeah,
and what went into this.
'cause I think people forget like that's not an old woman. That's just a young woman who's able to rap like an old woman. That's some shit.
Hell yeah. I would put this above the battle of the directors, right before James Bond versus Austin Powers.
Yeah, you're right. I think it. This one again is the one that's more slept on, but it's very clever writing. It's what probably one of the more subliminal ones.
Yeah.
There's a lot of few little details that you can really just glance over, but it is very good.
Hell yeah. Alrighty. Vlad versus Dracula. This one was a slaughter, and that stopped really being very fun.
It is. I think it's great.
It's a good one,
It's one
but
sided
it's
as fuck.
uneven.
One sided as fuck though. Dracula doesn't really get it. It's Dracula's too goofy. Vlad the Paler. Look at Lord. Look at Lord right there in that fucking thumbnail, and tell me he isn't death incarnate.
He just that is the problem. At a certain point, Dracula just stops throwing out like jabs, and he just starts to like he feels like he's already won, and so he stops trying. But where do we put this?
It can't. It's higher than C, right?
You know what? Fuck it. I'm putting this in C, and I'm moving Donald Trump versus Scrooge down into low C.
Wait, what about this made you reconsider about that one?
Because I hate looking into B tier and seeing it there when it doesn't deserve to be.
Fair enough. The more I look at it and what it's surrounded by, you're right. But I think Vlad versus Dracula gets top C.
I'm putting it in like bottom B.
Really?
Yeah, I think Vlad goes so hard that it justifies it being in B.
You're right. It is a very good performance.
Joker versus Pennywise.
That is S tier.
Yeah, this is S. Only matter of where to put it in S.
I'd say on the lower end, it's not as even keel, and it's a bit
Yeah,
bloated.
I'd agree with that.
I'd say it's
Definitely a bit bloated.
I think it's right behind. Maybe probably behind Cleaners versus Bruce Lee.
Alrighty. That's a pretty comfortable place for it to be.
Yeah. Now here's another one where it's also a fucking slaughter. Okay,
Yeah.
it's between Mother Teresa and Oppenheimer, where they're the best performance. This is easily fucking Peter's greatest performance, like hands
Let's
down.
just put it. Agreed. I'm just gonna put it in front of the Mother Teresa versus Sigmund Freud, because at least Thanos gets some good lines back. I will say Freud also gets good lines back, but they don't feel. Freud's biggest sin is his lines feel kind of forced.
Yeah,
Like, haha, sex. That's what I'm famous for. Thanos genuinely does go on the assault, and I'm gonna say that ekes it out.
I was
He
gonna
goes in
say,
A.
I was gonna say he gets bludgeoned with a hammer and has a few quick twitches that look like it's trying to fight back, and then he gets beaten down again.
Exactly. Biden versus Trump.
Top of C.
I'd put it top of C.
Top of C. It's very good and funny. But I just like looking at Peter's fucking.
Oh my God, we're missing one.
Which one are we missing?
Obama versus Romney.
Oh no! Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm a fucking idiot. I love how Dad brought it up. My fuck, be still my heart. Where does that one go?
I don't fucking know. Low C? I don't know.
Yeah, low C, whatever. Low C. It goes into low C.
But yes, Biden versus Trump. Great concept. It's a great concept executed well. It's the first of the presidential rap battles that I'd consider actually good.
Yeah. Because fuck Bill O'Reilly. Fucking Barack Obama versus Mitt Romney's fun, but it's just kind of eh.
It's fun, but yeah, they're not. It felt like they were afraid to really dig in on both sides. This one, this one, the problem with that one with Barack versus Romney is they were afraid to really get controversial. The problem with Clinton versus Trump was they were clearly very one side. This one still has the yeah, Trump's a terrible person, we don't like him, but they kind of lean into it. And so instead of this being a rap battle about morality, it's more of they lean into Trump's character, making him larger than life, and so Biden gets a chance to kind of be the opposite, and I really like.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like the fact that I forgot about it until this point feels like Mitt Romney versus Barack Obama should be F tier, but I don't know. Whatever. It's low C.
Whatever.
Low C.
All right. Another S tier coming up with Luke versus Harry Potter, or
Something
Luke
that
Skywalker versus Harry Potter.
something that actually matters in life.
Hasn't aged super well with the Boy in a Band allegations, which is makes me really sad because Boy in a Band was my favorite YouTuber,
Wait, what happened?
but he got allegations of him being a pedophile.
Not again.
Yeah, I don't know if they're true or not, but I mean, he didn't use the internet before, so now he's just gonna not use the internet extra hard.
Yeah.
Uh, Talking about the rap battle itself, I feel Harry kind of has a near the end. It's clear that Luke Skywalker isn't really going to be able to come back, so it stops it from being S. But I'd say it's like best of A.
Yeah. I was gonna put an S, but now you think about it, I think Luke actually wins. It's very.
Really,
I think Luke wins is even keel. But when I look at the other ones in S, I can't put it above much.
my problem with it is Harry just gets such great disses, and Luke kind of his best stuff happens first and second verse. His third verse is mostly to build himself up, and I really think he should have refuted some things Harry said. Also, he just straight up dies in the middle of the rap battle.
He dies in real life too.
You know what? Fair. I wish Harry Potter would die. Harry Potter, not Daniel Radcliffe.
He's doing theater.
Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel Radcliffe, from all things I've heard, is a lovely person.
Yeah. Harry Potter I'm tired of stocking his shelf in my Barnes and Noble.
I have never read or seen any. I have never read his books or seen his movies. Anyway, this next one surprised me how much I liked it.
Oh,
Richard
yeah.
the Lionheart versus Ragnar Lodbrok.
This one's S tier.
Yeah, I'd call it S.
It's one of the
I feel
best
like
strictly historical ones.
I'd consider it their best historical one. The problem is no one knows about who these two are.
Yeah, we're nerds, so we know exactly who they are.
I feel like Ragnar has a show. People like Vikings. Nobody really knows who Richard the Lionheart is, which is a shame, but I loved it. I thought it was a great one.
I think it goes into S, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to put it once again right below Marilyn Monroe versus Cleopatra.
Fair enough.
All right. And the last three are S's.
Yeah, the last three are S's.
So it's just a matter of finding out what they are.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put them all in S right now and save some fucking time. All of these three are S's for all different reasons.
Right. So Jeff Bezos versus our man's. Where would we put him? For one, Screw does a great performance, but it's clear that Epic Lloyd is just loving being this just domineering presence on the scene.
I think it goes right behind Richard versus Lowbrook.
Alrighty.
As for the trifecta one, this is ERB still breaking new ground.
Mm.
I think for that it gets higher, maybe below Romeo and Juliet versus Bonnie and Clyde.
Alrighty. That feels like a good place for it. And now the latest one. To our knowledge of this, to the latest one as of this date, Laura Croft versus Indiana Jones. Obviously, it's an S, but where?
Because here's the thing, I think this is the best. Besides, I think they made up for their sins in both the Caitlyn Jenner and also all the other bad in Joan of Arc. They made up with all their other bad female representations and finally did one that's just out of the fucking park.
I'm gonna give it like second best.
Really?
I feel like obviously both get plenty of chances to. I think they both get 3 verses each, which is nice. But the detailing that went into like the technical side, I watched their behind the scenes. They used Unreal Engine, I believe, to make the backgrounds. Laura Croft's character outfit changes, Indy's makeup, the fact that Nice Peter had to learn how to use a whip for the rap battle.
I think it goes fourth. I think my top three are let's okay. Now that we have it all decided, let's go through our top three for each tier and see how we match
Okay.
up. Top three for tier is still uh Odin versus Thor, Tolkien, the R's basically Tolkien versus Martin, and
hmm
then third I have Theodore Roosevelt versus Winston.
My top three are Theodore versus Winston, Laura Croft versus Indiana Jones, and then Thor versus Odin, or Thor versus Zeus.
Yeah, for A I have Luke versus Harry, Nice Peter versus Epic Lord 2, and then Shaka Zulu versus Shakespeare. Not Shakespeare, I fucking
Caesar. That's
Caesar.
actually my top three in that regard. Same order too.
Uh-huh. Then for B I have Che Guevara versus Guy Fawkes, Jacques Cousteau versus Steve Irwin, and then Freddy Krueger versus Wolverine.
I have the first two, but my top three of B is uh fucking Wayne Gretzky versus Tony Hawk.
That is fair. That's a toss up.
Alrighty. C tier. My top three are Biden versus Trump, Musk versus Zuckerberg, RoboCop versus Terminator.
Yep, same here.
D is Marco or fucking I don't even remember his name.
Kirk versus Columbus.
Marco Columbus. My top three of D is Columbus versus Kirk, Sarah Palin versus Lady Gaga, Lloyd versus Peter.
Yep, and then the bottom top three are Ellen DeGeneres versus Oprah, Joan of Arc versus Miley Cyrus, and then Kim Jong Un versus Hulk Hogan.
My bottom are Oprah versus Ellen, Caitlyn Jenner versus Bruce Wayne, Joan of Arc versus Miley Cyrus.
I like to say my bottom one is fucking Caitlyn Jenner versus Bruce Banner.
My bottom one is Splinter. Gandalf versus Dumbledore.
Fair enough. I think that one is second bottom, mostly because it's forgettable. The last one is possibly offensive.
So yeah, that has been our tier list about epic rap battles of history.
uh, Epic Lord and/or Nice Peter, if you're seeing this, uh, I'm sorry that you did Batman so poorly. You apologize for it. I acknowledge it. Uh, you have yet to apologize for the bottom one. That one we get. You tried. At least the rapper was trans.
Please,
You did it. You did it really well.
please. Next time you choose like you're gonna try and tackle trans rights, please choose a better character. The actress was fine. The bars were kind of and you couldn't have picked a worse one if you tried.
Also, we love you, and that we
Yes,
all
we love you deeply.
yeah. Uh,
You know what? Here's a freebie. Do a horror one next Halloween. Do the Sleepaway Camp Girl as one of the people. She's a very famous example of a trans character in media who's taken seriously.
yeah. Do her versus the unmatched power of the sun.
You know what? Next rap battle you do Hydrogen Bomb versus Baby, or at least do that one second because we all know what the next one you is.
Uh,
Dream versus Rosa Parks.
well, actually, what
I
you
stopped
have.
recording. Oh, it stopped recording because I ran out of disk space. I don't know where my footage stopped.
And I'll stop there too.